welcome to another day on Twitch here, Nili. What's going on?
Thanks for having me.
I've known you for probably for 10 years. Has that been that
Almost
long?
something like that. I mean, when I met you in England, it was like in 2012. I don't remember if that was the first time that I met you, but maybe it was.
You have, of course, a solo career, your guitar instrumental stuff. You also played Autonomic Cowpine for the, was it Maximum Security Tour? Which one did you do?
I did a couple. That was one of them that we did some shows of, and then I think we did Edge of Insanity back then. We did a bunch of different things and different songs in the set that I will never remember, like just in one ear and out the other. It's been so long.
So yes, she had to learn all the songs for Maximum Security and Edge of Insanity.
It's brutal, but it was really more brutal for him because I had a mixture of rhythm and lead stuff, and it's not like I felt like I was heavy lifting the whole time, but I don't know how he did it, honestly.
That sounds scary. Well, T-Mac, he's the man.
Yeah, it was, man. He is the man.
I know you did the Cirque du Soleil as well. Can you tell me a little bit what else you've been up to apart from that?
Yeah, so I did a Cirque du Soleil show from 2017 to like 2019. It was their Michael Jackson kind of Cirque show. It's different than another like standard Cirque show because usually you have a pit band and all that stuff, and we didn't have any of that. We just had a lot of backing tracks because it was Michael's licensed stuff. So we only actually had 2 live musicians in the show. It was me and then a female vocalist. It was a very kind of athletic gig, you know. It was a lot more about the performance, and of course I was playing live and I had to play the beat at solo, of course, and there was some really cool stuff about it, but it was definitely a lot more about playing a character, and the costume was just like ungodly uncomfortable, you know, with heels and all this stuff, and it was just kind of a grind. They do 10 shows a week. I mean, if you're sitting in the pit, it's one thing, you know, but for me, it was just kind of like, okay, try to keep up with people that train to be athletes their entire life. It's like, who are we kidding? I definitely had to work up to it and everything. And there would be moments where you're brought into the stage from like an elevator below the stage, you know, so that you're just appearing from below. And to get to the room that had these sort of elevators, you had to climb a ladder with the guitar in heels and like another ladder just to get to the elevator that would take you on stage stuff. So it was just like a lot of back and forth and running and crazy. And, you know, the show was really, really repetitive. So definitely that very same routine over and over and over again too.
What did you learn from that whole experience? What do you think was the thing that you got the most out?
I mean, I think the showmanship was a big part of it, but I think it really taught me to pace myself, you know, because those weeks were so hard to maintain. There's just too many shows. So
you have to be fit to do all this. Was it tough at the beginning?
Yeah, you definitely, like, they build you up to that. The preparation took about like 3 weeks or maybe even a month, and by the time you get to the whole thing, I felt pretty comfortable, you know, but it's weird, like, you know, you feel like you got up to it, but it never got any easier. It was always like, I'm still really tired. I was, you know, like we would have 2 days off a week. We would have a weekend in the middle of the week, and taking care of the rest of your life when you were always tired. It was just like, it's a memory where I'm like, wow.
From what I know of you, right? You never heel person and all that, right?
No, not really. No, yeah, that was that was definitely a learning curve for me. But, you know, they weren't stilettos, right? So they weren't like super skinny heels or anything. They had kind of a thick heel. So you got some sort of stability, but still, it's like 5 inches off the ground, and I like being low to the ground, you know. I'm already clumsy. I can trip over nothing, so I really don't need heels to help me trip over myself. That's why I kind of vowed from that day, okay, like only Jordans on stage from now on, or maybe boots of some kind.
Is there anything like DVD or Blu-ray? Sorry, it sounds so boomer to say that.
No, I think they're so protective of their rights. And I think with those shows in particular, it's a different thing because his estate, Michael Jackson's owns probably half that show, and Cirque owns the other. So it's not like another Cirque show where they're going to release the music so they're always super protective of any footage. But I just remember that it was not really out there. And I hated it too because I wanted some live pictures, or something. And it was very difficult. That's why all my pictures from that era are behind the scenes because they didn't let us do anything.
What guitar did you play for that? Was there a specific guitar look they wanted? What were you playing?
They had custom guitars that were built for the show, and they were specifically non-brand guitar, They played great. They definitely looked appropriate for the show and everything, but at the same time, they were really pretty heavy, and I felt like they had no business being that heavy and that they were really hurting the lifespan of the guitar players in the show. But it worked for the time. I just wish that I wasn't in a costume and a whole getup that was just berating my body over time.
I remember when that audition first started, and they were specifically looking for female guitar players, right? There's not that many female guitar players that are going to be able to do that.
I know.
And play at that level.
That's what I kept kind of going to bat for, with them. And I tried, but it's just one of those things where when you're kind of the only musician kind of screaming to deaf ears about oh, my guitars are heavy, and they're just well, we really have to worry about the acrobats. So I don't want it to make it sound like it wasn't awesome because I'm very grateful for the whole thing, and I had a lot of fun. And
you are also donating a guitar. You're going to show us that.
I am.
Yeah. I haven't seen this guitar either.
So this was actually my first Ibanez. I think it was my first endorsement guitar that I got. And I played it on the first McAlpine tour way back. And I just kind of thought that this would be a fun thing to connect, Hopefully have it go to a good home that's going to give it a lot of love. And I picked it up for the first time in a while, and it's actually playing pretty good. So you'll get something. It's probably my least dinged up guitar, so I feel better selling it.
Thank you so much for donating that guitar for the cause.
To me, there's no better cause, and it's to see everybody coming together for this, and all our friends and all our heroes and everything. It's just it reminds me that we have a great community and that we really do care about each other, and someone as amazing as Jason, who's really kind of been there for all of us, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. It's he's got a lot on his plate, you know what I mean? But he's such a wonderful friend. He deserves even more credit than he already gets for being as inspiring as he is.
I know you've done press before. You don't want to hear the same interview questions.
I don't know that people are necessarily expecting it to be like an interview. We're always cool to shoot the shit, no?
Okay, so I'm going to shoot you some shit. This is going to sound nasty, though. I have to say, why the fuck are you playing a Sam Topman signature guitar?
I never really think about it that way. So I played in Death Clock now a year and a half ago or something. I needed a guitar that was dark and pointy for Death Clock, and the Ibanez choices that were out there for me to kind of cultivate that look, that Iceman really worked, you know what I mean? So it wasn't necessarily a Sam thing or something like that. And well, because I also needed the trem, the floating. Mm-hmm. So that guitar made sense for it. You got to give it credit for what it is. I mean, I think it really is a cool Iceman.
Oh, I designed it, by the way, so it's okay.
Did you?
Sam doesn't care. He just wants his beer.
That's cool. Well, hey, listen, props to you, man. Like, we already knew you were cool. I'm trying to tell you, and you're just like, give me advice. I'm like, what are you...
Welcome to my channel. Yeah, were you always playing Ibanez before you, I guess, work with them?
I had another endorsement before that was of a custom company called Inspire Guitars, and they made these, Strat style, super Strat style. And it was a great brand, and they built things to my specs, and it was awesome. I always say, I need a really, really nice Strat, that's something that I never had so I'm always like, I need to make a list of just fun stuff for myself, but then I never pull the trigger because I'd rather the money go to Jason or something, And Ibanez has been great with, again, filling the needs of anything that I might have needed, whether or not it ends up with the Sam Topman model.
I've got the Yngwie Malmsteen Strat in the garage. Everything on that thing is vintage, right? Old style. It's not up to date, right? You don't even have the holes to put your strings through for the tuning machines. It's a total pain to even put strings on. They don't stay in tune well. It's funny, they're making something that is still vintage, but it kept the same spec as it was in the 70s. You need to be really good to keep that guitar in tune. I had the number of problems with guitar techs that were kind of confused at the beginning. They put my pedals wrong all the time in the front of the stage. Where I have the whammy and the wah pedal they have it straight line. I always have it diagonal. Yeah, I'm like those weird guys. It's got to be diagonal because my feet doesn't point straight.
That's a good point. Never thought about that.
And I don't use my right foot as well to do wah or any expression pedal work because it moves your guitar when you use the right foot. So I train to use my left foot.
See, I thought I only use my left foot because I'm a lefty, but I guess that's not it.
Oh, so you never came across that problem.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I'm going to ask you something funny, yeah? So I know you were never into makeup, right? You were totally
not
a makeup
actually, you
person.
really know that from my early days, yeah.
I know a lot. So
Yeah.
was that kind of weird? You were like full on dressed up makeup, brang.
It was a little weird, but because it wasn't like you're dressing up really, dressy to go out or something. It was just like, this is a character and this is like a whole, it's not even makeup. It's like you're painting your face somebody else. So I think it was just like a completely different concept to me than just layering it on thick or something. We had to do the makeup ourselves. I didn't know that before I came in. Nobody really does. So you're actually trained on how to do the makeup for 3 weeks or something. It's one of the things that you spent the most time on preparing to go on stage, and you learn to kind of zone in on it and use that time for whatever quiet reflection or anything. So I think it just became a different thing to me over there.
Was there any big fuck ups? Did you screw up a guitar solo?
I mean, we had some shit. There's one solo at the end where they bring you up on a riser and you're supposed to have all the whammy bar going and do all these things. And so I go to grab I grab the bar and then I raise it and then I break the second string. And it's right when I'm about to go on stage. And this is where I'm supposed to play my solo, right? And everything is fucking completely out of tune. Even like noise that I would have tried to make sounded bad.
What kind of straps do you use? It sounds really weird, but what kind of guitar straps do you use?
I use the comfort strap. It's really thick. It's like cushion that's probably about a half an inch thick. And it's very wide, so it covers like your whole shoulder.
Well, I discovered that you need to have a strap which is with the least amount of friction, because otherwise it just rubs your hair and kind of make a mess out of it. So I look for a strap that has the smoothest, that it's got the least amount of friction, so I don't destroy my hair. So hair care advice here.
I never even like that. To me is like such an afterthought. So maybe I should try some new things.
I gave away some straps because they were not smooth enough. You know, they had too much friction.
Wow.
I just gave them away. That's never
crazy.
We're gonna do this blindfold challenge a little bit different, right? We're gonna try to be as cool as Cousin It.
As cool as. I'm trying to figure it out myself. So. Is this the right look?
You look great. You look great.
Awesome. I'm like, how do you know where you are? I was like, imagining the fretboard and trying to.
You did great.
That was fun.
You never even heard the track before. Yeah.
Thank you, Herman. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. All 10,000 of you.
Nili, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Herman. Thanks for having me, man.
So I'll catch you later, right?
All right, man.
See you. Everybody say bye. Bye. Yeah.